Hi, today we're looking at GCSE Maths. This is the foundation level. We've got the Pearson Edexcel exam board and it's paper 1 from November 2023. So this is the non-calculator paper. Question 1. Here is a list of numbers. So we've got 2, 4, 4, 7, 8. Work out the range of these numbers. Well, the range is the difference between the largest number and the smallest number. Well, the smallest number is 2 and the largest number is 8. So if we want the difference between them, it's the biggest one minus the smallest one. Now in this example, we've got the numbers sorted. So the smallest number is the first number we have and the largest number is the last number we have, but they don't have to be in that order, so always good to check. So we've got 8 minus 2, which is 6, and we write that on our answer binder. Question 2. Work out 120 minus 89. So I'm going to write this as a column, line up my units and my tens. So say 0 minus 9. We can't take 9 away from 0 or nothing. So we're going to have to take one from this number here and pass it over. So we've now got 10 minus 9, which is 1. 1 minus 8 we can't do. So we'll take the 1 from here, reduce that to a 0. We've now got 11 minus 8, which is 3. 0 minus nothing is still nothing. So we get an answer of 31. Okay. Question 3. Simplify 3 times a times 4. Well, let's deal with the numbers first of all. We've got 3 times 4, which is 12, and now we've just got a. Because it's multiply, we don't need to put the multiply sign in anymore, so we can just leave it as 12a. Question 4. Measure the size of the angle marked X. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to need my protractor. And I'm going to line it up, get my crosshairs right on where the two lines meet. Line one line up with this line here, and I'm measuring the angle, so I want to be inside the two lines. So we're starting at 0, 10, 20, 30, and we're getting up to 40. So that's going to be 40 degrees. Question 5. Work out 1/5 of 300. Well, 1/5 of 300 is the same as 300 divided by 5. So we'll do this using a bus stop method. So the 300 goes inside the bus stop. 5 goes on the outside. So does 5 go into 3? No, it doesn't, because 5 is bigger than 3. So what about 5 into 30? Well, we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's 6 times. And 5 into 0 goes 0 times. So we've got an answer of 60. Question 6. There are 3 litres of oil in a can. Jermaine uses 700 millilitres of the oil. Work out the amount of oil left in the can. Give your answer in millilitres. Well, we've got one measurement in litres and one in millilitres. So the first thing I'm going to do is get them in the same units. Well, I know that 1 litre is 1,000 millilitres. So if we've got 3 litres, we're going to multiply this by 3. So we're going to have 3,000 millilitres. So we're starting with 3,000 millilitres. We're going to use up 700, so we're going to take those away, and then we're going to see what we're left with. So 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is still 0. 0 minus 7 we can't do. So we reduce the 3 by 1 and put a 1 here to make it 10 minus 7, which is 3, and 2 minus nothing is 2. So we get an answer of 2,300, and they've already put the units in for us, the millilitres there. Question 7. Matt is drawing a scale diagram. 1 centimetre represents 5 metres. He draws a line 3 centimetres long. What real distance does the line represent? Well, if we're going from 1 centimetre to 3 centimetres, we're basically multiplying that by 3. So we need to do the same to the 5 metres. So 5 metres times 3, or 3 times 5, we've got 5, 10, 15. So it's going to be 15 metres in real life. So we can put, or 15 metres long, we can put that on the answer line there. Then we're told the real distance between 2 points is 20 metres. What is the distance between the 2 points on the scale diagram? Right, okay, so we're starting with 20 metres now. Now remember, we've got 1 centimetre represents 5 metres. So how many of these have we got in the 20 metres? So we want 20, or 20 metres, divided by 5 metres. So we can just think of that as 20 divided by 5, 5, 10, 15, 20. So that's going to be 4, and that's now centimetres, because we've converted from the actual distance down to the drawing on the scale diagram. Question 8. Miss Bailey has asked 24 students where they each wanted to go on a school trip. Here are the results. Let's pick this one up. Okay. So we've got museum, castle, castle, farm, lots of different results here. Complete the frequency table. Okay, we've got a tally and a frequency. I'm actually going to work out the frequency first and then input the tally, because I find it easier that way. So I'm just going to count how many times have we got castle listed up here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 for castle. I'll do all of the frequencies, then all the tallies afterwards. So how many farms have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 for farm. And how many for museum? Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we're going to do our tallies. So we want to get 11. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So remembering that we always have groups of 5 together like this. So for the 7, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And for 6, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we want, we can check that this adds up to the 24 that we were given at the beginning. In fact, let's do that. So 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 6 is 14, 1 plus the 1 we carry is 24. So we've done a little check there as well. Now, we've got an extra little question here. Write down the place that is the mode. So which of these has got the most frequency, or the highest frequency? Well, it's castle, because that's 11. So the answer isn't 11, but it's the place that has the most, which is castle. And now we've got a part C for this question as well. Draw a bar chart to show the results. Okay, so we've got our graph paper here. I'm going to do a vertical bar chart. So down at the bottom, I'm going to have the place. And remember, we've got castle, farm and museum. So we're going to work out how much of this space to use. We could use 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm going to split it up this way, I think. We want to make sure the width of the bars is the same for all of them, so we're going to have a width of 3 squares for each. So we're going to have castle, farm, and museum. And then we're going to have our frequency going up on the y-axis. And the highest number we had was 11. So let's just check we can fit that all in. So if we start at 0, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that'll fit on here nicely. But instead of writing all of the numbers on, I'm just going to go up in 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And I might as well put a title on this. So this is going to be school trip locations. Usually I'd do the title at the end, but might as well do it now while we're laying it out. Okay, so we've just got to think, what numbers have we got? So if we go back to the previous sheet, for castle we've got 11, farm we've got 7, and museum we've got 6. So 11 for castle, well that's going to be halfway between 10 and 12. So we can draw a line across here. Okay. And I can draw my line down like that. For farm, we had a frequency of 7. So that's going to be halfway between 6 and 8. So that'd be here. And for museum, we had a frequency of 6. There you go. So we've got our values plotted. We've got our labels on both axes. We've got a title. And that's everything we need. Question 9. Selena has a bag of 22 counters. 5 of the counters are blue, 9 of the counters are red, 8 of the counters are pink. Selena takes at random a counter from the bag. Write down the probability that Selena 1 takes a red counter. Well, we've got a total of 22. So that's going to be my denominator. And we want a red one. Well, 9 of them are red. So it's going to be 9 over 22. Now we want the probability that she does not take a pink counter. Well, 8 of them are pink, so all the others must be not pink. So we want 22 minus 8. Well, we can't take 8 away from 2, so we'll take 1 from here and give it across to make that 12 minus 8, which is 4. 1 minus nothing is 1. So we're going to have 14, and it's still going to be out of 22. Now we want the probability that Selena takes a white counter. Well, I don't believe we had any white counters, so the probability is 0. Question 10. Here are the ingredients needed to make 20 peanut butter cookies. So for 20 cookies we need 250 grams of peanut butter, 200 grams of sugar and 2 small eggs. Derek wants to make 60 cookies. He has 900 grams of peanut butter. Does Derek have enough peanut butter to make 60 cookies? You must show how you get your answer. Okay, so we're only interested in the peanut butter. Okay, so we can forget about sugar and the eggs, just peanut butter. What we could do is divide this by 20 to find out how much peanut butter we would need for 1 cookie and then multiply it by 60. Instead, what I'm going to do is say, well, we're trying to get from 20 up to 60. And I can see, well, to get from 20 to 60, we're multiplying that by 3. If you weren't sure, you could do 60 divided by 20. Cancel the zeros, you get 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we don't have to do the step in between. All we need to do is multiply our 250 grams of peanut butter by 3, and that will tell us how much we need. So we're going to do our 3 times 0, which is still 0, 3 times 5, 5, 10, 15, and 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 1 is 7. So we've got 700, or we need 750 grams of peanut butter. He's got 900, so 900 is more than that. Does he have enough? Yes, he does. Question 11. Oh, we can't see much of that, so let's move it up. On the grid, draw an enlargement of the triangle with a scale factor of 3. So scale factor of 3, that means we need to multiply our dimensions by 3. So at the moment, we've got a width of 2 and a height of 1, 2, 3. So a scale factor of 3, so the 2 times 3 is going to become 6, and a 3 times 3 is going to become 9. So if we start our triangle here, we need a base of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's draw that in. Now we know the triangle needs to be 9 squares tall, but if you notice the peak is right in the middle. So what we can do, if we work our way in, the middle's going to be here. So we want to count 9 squares up from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I'm going to draw a line down to the corner on the left, and another one to the corner on the right. And there's our triangle. Question 12. P equals 2G plus 4H. Work out the value of P when G equals 3 and H equals 5. So we're going to have P is equal, so instead of G, we're going to have 2, and when the letter's next to the number, it means multiply. So G is now 3, so we've got 2 times 3, plus 4, and instead of H, we've got 5. But remember, it's 4 times 5. Okay, well, 2 times 3 is 6, and 4 times 5, 5, 10, 15, 20. 20. So 6 plus 20, we're going to have 26. Okay, part 2. Work out the value of G when P equals 38 and H equals 3. So I'm going to write this in again. So we had P equals 2G plus 4H. They're telling us now that P is 38. We don't know what G is, because that's what we're trying to work out. So we've still got 2G, but instead of 4H, we've got 4 times 3. So we've still got 38, we've still got 2G, but the 4 times 3, we've got 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, so we want to get the G's on their own. So what I can do is get rid of this 12, and to get rid of it, I'm going to have to subtract it. So we're subtracting minus 12 from over here. We're going to have to subtract it over here as well. So we're going to want 38 minus 12. 8 minus 2 is 6. 3 minus 1 is 2. So that means we're going to end up with 26 equal to 2G. So that's because we've taken 12 off of this side and we've taken 12 off of this side. So 26 equals 2G. So I'm just going to flip that around. So we've got 2G equals 26. Yeah, I've just swapped the order. And that's because we're interested in the G's, so it's nicer to have the G on the left. We've got 2 of them, we only want 1 G. So we're going to half it, or divide it by 2. So 26 divided by 2. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 6. 2, 4, 6. That's 3 times. So we get G equals 13. Now we're told V equals 3R minus Q. Work out the value of V when R equals minus 3 and Q equals 2. So V is going to be 3 times minus 3. I'll put that in brackets just to show the minuses with the 3. And then we're going to subtract or minus Q, which is 2. So if we're multiplying numbers, when we've got the signs there, we ignore the signs to start with. So just do 3 times 3, which is 3, 6, 9. If the signs are the same, then it would be positive. If one's positive and one's negative, as we've got here, the overall answer is going to be negative. So we've got minus 9, and we've still got minus 2. So minus 9, minus 2. I'm going to draw a little number line for us over here. So imagine we've got 0 on the number line, we've got minus 9 here. If we're subtracting 2, that means that we're going to be taking off 2 or moving 2 to the left. So 1, 2. So that would be minus 10, minus 11. And so that's going to be the answer for V. Question 13. Chloe is making scrunchies. Chloe has a large number of hairbands. Each hairband costs 8p. She buys 100 grams of wool for £3. Chloe uses 1 hairband and 5 grams of wool to make each scrunchie. She makes as many scrunchies as she can. Work out the total cost of each scrunchie that she makes. Give your answer in pence. Right, so she needs wool and she needs hairbands to make these scrunchies. We're told she's got a large number of hairbands, so it sounds like it's not important how many, she's got lots of them. But the wool, she's only got 100 grams of wool. She needs 5 for each scrunchie. So we're going to have to start off by doing 100 divided by 5. Which we can do with the bus stop method. 5 can't divide into 1. 5 into 10, 5, 10, goes twice. And 5 into 0 goes 0 times. So we can make 20 of these scrunchies. So we've got to work out the total cost of each of them. So we know that we've got £3 for the 100 grams of wool. That's fine. And we know, we want the total cost of each scrunchie. Yeah, so we've got £3 for all of them. What we can do is think of that as 300p or 300 pence. So what we want to do is work out how much of this we need for 1 scrunchie. So we're going to do 300 divided by 20, because we've worked out that we're going to make 20 scrunchies. Oh, scrunchies. Let's write it correctly. Yeah. So 300 divided by 20. Well, we can cancel a 0 on both. So we end up with 30 divided by 2. Using the bus stop method. 2 goes into 3 once, remainder 1. 2 goes into 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 5 times. Okay, so we've got 15p for the wool of 1 scrunchie. We know that each hairband is 8p. So our total cost per scrunchie is going to be 15p for the wool plus 8p for the hairband. 5 plus 8 is 13. 1 plus 1 is 2. So we've got a cost per scrunchie of 23p. Question 14. On the grid, draw the graph of y equals 4x minus 1 for values of x from minus 2 to 2. Okay, now when we're doing this, you can work out all of the values. So you can work out when x is minus 2, when x is minus 1, when x is 0. But you only really need 2 points because it's going to be a straight line. So what I'm going to do, I'll do it down here. I'm going to work out the values when x is minus 2 and when x is 2. So I'm going to do the 2 extreme points. Well, when x equals minus 2, we're going to have y equals 4 times minus 2, and all of that minus 1. So 4 times minus 2, we do the 4 times 2 first. 2, 4, 6, 8. And then because we've just got one negative value, the overall answer is going to be negative. And then we've got the minus 1. So minus 8, we're going to get more negative by 1. So it's going to be minus 9. Now for the other value, in fact I will put that on here. When x is a positive 2, we're going to have y equals 4 times 2 and then minus 1. So 4 times 2 we saw before is 8. We haven't got the minus anymore. 8 minus 1 equals 7. So all we need to do is plot these values. So we've got, for the first value, we've got minus 2 on the x-axis, minus 9 on the y. So minus 2 and then come down to minus 9. So we're going to have a point here. And the other value we had was 2 on the x-axis, 7 on the y. So 2 and 7. And now we need to connect our 2 points. My ruler is actually not quite long enough, as you'll see, but so it might not be perfectly straight, but I think that's looking reasonable. That's what they want. So you can work out lots more points on the line if you want to make sure that you've done a good job, but you only need 2 of them, and then you can connect them with a straight line. Question 15. Steve is buying a car. The car costs £12,000. Steve pays 25% of the cost as a deposit. He pays the rest of the cost in 20 equal monthly payments. How much is each monthly payment? Well, 25%, we could do 25 out of 100 times 12,000. But I know that 25% is equal to a quarter. So I'm just going to do 12,000 divided by 4. So 4 doesn't go into 1, but 4 into 12. 4, 8, 12 goes 3 times. 4 into 0 is 0. 4 into 0 is 0. 4 into 0 is 0. So we've got £3,000 as a deposit. Okay, so how much are we going to have left after the deposit has been paid? So 12,000 minus 3,000. 0 minus 0 is 0. Same again and again. 2 minus 3 we can't do, so reduce the 1 there, pass it over. So 12 minus 3. So we've got £9,000 left to pay, and we've got to pay that in 20 monthly instalments. So we want 9,000 divided by 20. Well, we can cancel a 0 on both sides. So 900 divided by 2. Stop method. 2's into 9. 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 4 times. With 1 left over. 2 into 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 5 times. And 2 into 0 gives 0 times. So we've got an answer there of £450. Question 16. Shah takes an exam. The exam is out of 60 marks. Shah needs to score at least 70% of the marks to pass the exam. He scores 45 marks. Show that Shah passes the exam. Right, well, let's work out what 70% would be, so we know the score that he's aiming for. Well, 10% of 60 marks will just be 6. We'll take the 0 off. So if we want 70%, well, that's 7 lots of 10. So we can just multiply that by 7. So 6 times 7, we've got 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. So he needs 42. He's got 45. So he's passed. Question 17. Work out 3/5 divided by 1/6. So dividing fractions, we want to think KFC, where K stands for keep the first fraction as it is. Flip, well, I tend to think of it as flipping the second fraction upside down. So instead of 1/6, we get 6/1. And change the division to the opposite sign, which is multiply. Now we can just multiply the top together. The tops together. 3 times 6, 6, 12, 18. And multiply the bottom together. 5 times 1, or 1 times 5, is 5. Now they've asked us to give the answer as a mixed number, so we want to divide 18 by 5. Well, we've got 5, 10, 15, so that's 3 times. And then from 15, we've got 16, 17, 18. So we've got 3 left over. So that's going to be 3 and 3/5. Question 18. Work out 6.3 times 2.4. I'm going to completely ignore the decimal points and I will put them back in afterwards. So, column multiplication. 4 times 3, or 3 times 4, we've got 4, 8, 12. Put the 2, carry the 1. Now, we're sticking with the 4, but multiplying by the 6 now. So 4 times 6, 6, 12, 18, 24, plus the 1 is 25. So now we're moving on to the 10, so we can put a 0 here. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. So we want to add these together. 2 plus 0 is 2. 5 plus 6 is 11. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And 1 on its own is just a 1. So we've got 1,512. But remember, we had some decimal places. We had 1 decimal place here and another decimal place here. So that's 2 altogether. So we need to put the decimal point back in. So once for the first decimal place, twice for the second. So we get an answer of 15.12. Question 19. Write down the value of 5 to the power 0. Well, anything to the power 0 is 1. Write down the value of 5 to the power minus 2. Well, if it's got a minus power, it just means 1 over the number with the power without the minus. So 5 to the minus 2 means 1 over 5 to the 2, or 1 over 5 squared. And remember, 5 squared means 5 times itself. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So we end up with 1/25, or 1 over 25. Okay, part B. Write 2 to the power 5 times 2 to the power 4, all divided by 2 to the power 3. In the form 2n, where n is an integer. So our answer is just going to be 2 to the power some number. Now, we've got to think of our power rules here. When we're multiplying the same number, we add the powers. So this is going to become, the top line is going to become 2, and 5 plus 4 is 9. And we still keep 2 to the power 3 at the bottom. Now separately, we can look at the division. When we're dividing two numbers, which is the same number, but with powers, we subtract the powers. So this is going to be 2 to the power 9 minus 3, which is 6. Question 20. Write 156 as a product of its prime factors. So remember, product means multiplying numbers together, in a similar way that sum means adding numbers together. So we've got 156. We want to look at factors of it. Well, it's an even number, so I know we can divide it by 2. How many times? Well, let's find out. So 2 doesn't go into 1. 2 into 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 16 would be too many. So 7 times 14 with 1 left over. And 2 goes into 16. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. That's 8 times. So we've got 2 and 78. Well, 2 is a prime number, so this can't go any smaller. But 78, well, that's an even number again. So I know 2 can go into it another time. Let's see how many times. Let's divide 78 by 2. So 2's into 7. We've got 2, 4, 6. That's 3 times remainder 1. And 2 into 18. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. That's 9 times. Okay, right, well, it's not even anymore, this number. So is there anything else that will go into it? Well, 3 and 9, I think that 3 might go into it, and I can check that, because if I add the digits together, 3 plus 9 is 12. If I add the digits of 12 together, 1 plus 2 is a 3. So I know 3 is going to go into it. But don't just believe me. Let's check it. So 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 9, 3, 6, 9, 3 times. Okay, so 3 is prime, 13 is prime, so this is as far as we can go. So they want us to write 156 as a product of its prime factors. So that's going to be 156 equals, well, we've got 2 times 2 times 3 times 13. If you want to put 2 squared instead of 2 times 2, that's absolutely fine. Okay, for part B, find the highest common factor of 156 and 130. Okay, so we've already got the prime factors of 156, so let's do the same thing for 130. So if we had 130 up here, this is ends in a 0, so I know it's even, I could divide it by 2, but actually I'm going to divide it by 10, so I know 10 will go into it. So if we take the 10 off, we'd get 13. So 10 times 13 is 130. Okay, now let's break these down further. Well, now I can say 10 is even. So I know 2 goes into 10. How many times? Well, 2 times 10 is 5. So 2's prime, 5's prime, 13's prime. That's as far as we can go. So now what I'm going to do is write down my prime factors. So we've got 156 and 130. So for 156, we had, what did we have? We had 2, we had 2, we had 3, and 13. And for 130, we've got 2, 5, so I'll put that in between, and 13. So now what we do is we look for where we've got the same factors. So we've got 2, and we've got 13. So now to find the highest common factor, we're going to multiply these two numbers together. So the highest common factor is going to be the 2 times the 13. 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. We get an answer of 26. So you don't have to solve this using prime factorisation as I have. So long as you end up with 26, then that's fine. Question 1. The mean length of 5 sticks is 4.2 centimetres. Now I'll measure the length of one of the sticks as 7 centimetres. Work out the mean length of the other 4 sticks. Well, the mean is measured as, or calculated as the total divided by the frequency. So with this one, we're told that the mean is 4.2. And we know we've got 5 sticks, but we don't know what the total is. But we can work out the total by rearranging this. So if the mean is 4.2, well, 5 lots of 4.2. 2 times 5 is 10. 4 times 5 is 5, 10, 15, 20. Plus the 1 is 21. So our total length is going to be 21 centimetres. Okay, so we've got 5 of them with a mean of 4.2. So multiply the 5 by the 4.2 gives us the total length. Now I'll measure the length of one of them as 7 centimetres. So if we take off the 7, what are we left with? We can't take 7 from 1, so reduce that by 1, make this 11. 11 minus 7 is 4, 1 minus nothing is 1. So we've now got a total of 14, but we've only got 4 sticks left. So we want to divide 14 by 4. Now, let's do this as a bus stop method. 14 and 4. So 4 into 14, we've got 4, 8, 12. So that's 3 times and 2 left over. So if we make this point 0, I've got somewhere to put my 2. So I put my decimal point here. And now, so how many times does 4 go into 20? Well, we've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. That's 5 times. So we get a new mean length of 3.5 centimetres. apart. Now I made a mistake. The stick was not 7 centimetres long. It was 17 centimetres long. How does this affect your answer to part A? Well, instead of 21 minus 7, we would have done 21 minus 17. So we'd end up with 11 minus 7, which is 4. 1 minus 1 is nothing. So we'd just have 4, which we'd need to divide by 4. So we'd end up with a mean of 1 centimetre. So how does this affect your answer to part A? It would be less. We can leave it at that. We can add. It would be 1 centimetre, but this is going to be enough. Just the fact we're saying that it's going to reduce. Question 22. The point P lies on the line AB. Use ruler and compasses to construct an angle of 90 degrees at P. You must show all your construction lines. Right, so here's my compass. When they say compasses, they mean a compass. Technically, oh, I've just lost it. Technically, they say compasses because we've got 2 parts to it, but they just mean one compass. So I'm going to insert my pencil in the compass. So we loosen it first. Get them at the same point and then tighten up there. Okay. Right. So what I want to do is I'm going to draw some lines on here. Now, what I want is I want 2 points on this line, the same distance from P. So one way to do that is just to pick any distance with the compass, mark one there, and mark another one there without changing it. You could measure the distance instead with your ruler, that's fine. Now what I'm going to do is draw a little arc from here, but I'm going to need to make this circle bigger now. Okay. So I'll draw a little arc here. You can do one top and bottom. You don't actually need to do both, but I'll show you. And then move it to the other point that we marked on the line and do the same without adjusting the distance on the compass. Okay, you can't see the bottom on there. There you go, I marked it. Now, to get our right angle, well, they said an angle of 90 degrees, but I'm sure you know that that is a right angle. We just need to draw a line straight through the middle. So we only needed to do one, because if you see, that already is a right angle. And if I carry on, it goes through there anyway. If it misses slightly, that's all right, but it should be pretty spot on. So we've drawn our right angle. You can put 90 degrees, you can put the little square, either one is fine. Question 23. The diagram shows an isosceles triangle ABD. So this is our triangle here. And the straight line ABC. Here's the straight line. And we're told that BA equals BD. That's why they put the mark on it to show they're the same length. The ratio of x to y equals 2 to 1. Work out the value of W. Okay, so if the ratio of x to y is 2 to 1, that's saying that x is twice the value of y. So we can then say, well, let's look at the angles in a triangle. I know that angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So what angles have we got? Well, Well, first of all, we know this is an isosceles triangle, they've told us. So that means two of the angles are the same. If these two lengths are the same, then it's these two which will be the same. So that's also going to be x degrees. So we know from this that x plus y equals 180 degrees. But we've been told that x equals 2y. So we can rewrite this as 2y plus 2y. So 2y plus y equals 180 degrees. So we've got 2y plus another 2y, that's 4y, plus another y. So we've got 5y equals 180 degrees. So y, well, we want to divide this by 5. So divide this by 5. 5 into 18, well, 5 into 1 won't go, so 5 into 18, we've got 5, 10, 15, that's 3, with 3 remainder, and 5 into 30, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, that's 6 times. So we've got y is equal to 36 degrees. Okay, now, we're trying to work out the value of w. Well, as well as knowing that angles in a triangle add up to 180, we can say angles in a straight line add up to 180 degrees as well. So that means that w plus y equals 180. So if we want to know what w is, it's going to be 180 minus y, which we've worked out as 36. Sorry, not divided by. 180 minus 36. So 0 minus 6 we can't do, so reduce the 8 to 7. Now we've got 10 minus 6 is 4. 7 minus 3 is 4. 1 minus nothing is 1. We've got w equals 144 degrees. Question 24. Mano has 3 shelves of books. There are X books on shelf A. There are 3x plus 1 books on shelf B. There are 2x minus 5 books on shelf C. There is a total of 44 books on the 3 shelves. All the books have the same mass. The books on shelf B have a total mass of 7,500 grams. Work out the total mass of the books on shelf A. Right, loads of information there. Quite confusing. So let's think. We've got shelf A, shelf B, and shelf C. Should be the same length. Okay. On shelf A, we've got X books. Shelf B, we've got 3x plus 1 book. And shelf C, we've got 2x minus 5. So in total, we've got x plus 3x plus 1 plus 2x minus 5. And we know that that adds up to 44 books. So now let's get our x's together. So we've got 1x here. We've got 3 x's. So 1 and 3 is 4. Plus another 2 x's. So we've got 6x here. Now we've got 1 minus 5. So think of a number line. If here's 1 on the number line, we've got to take away 5. Well, it's going to use up 1 to get to here, and we'll have 4 left to get down. So we're going to have 6x minus 4 equals 44. Now, let's move this minus 4 over. So as it moves over, it's going to become a plus 4. So we've got 6x, and we've got 44 plus 4. 4 and 4 is 8. 4 and nothing is 4. So we get 6x equals 48. So x, well, if we only want one of them, we're going to divide by the 6. We get 48 divided by 6. And we've got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. So x equals 8. Okay, now, that's great. We worked out what x is. We're interested in the books on shelf B. And the reason for that is because we know how heavy they are. That's the only shelf we know the weight of. So if we look at B, we've got 3x plus 1. Well, we know that x is 8 now, so we can do 3 times 8 plus 1. 3 times 8, 8, 16, 24, plus 1, 25. Okay, so we've got 25 books on shelf B. And they weigh 7,500 grams, and all the books have the same mass. So if we want to find out the mass of one book, we can do 7,500 divided by 25. Right. What I'm hoping that you will spot here is that 25 is a factor of 75. So we've got 25, 50, 75. So 25 goes into 75 3 times. And then 25 goes into 0 0 times. 25 goes into 0 0 times. So we have got that 300 grams is the mass of one book. We want the total mass of the books on shelf A. How many books have we got on shelf A? Well, let's move that back down. There are X books on shelf A, and we know that X is 8. So we've got 8 books. They weigh 300 grams each. 8 times 300. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 3, or 3 times 8. 8, 16, 24. So we have a total mass for shelf B of 2,400 grams. Question 25. A piece of glass has a mass of 27 grams and a volume of 10 centimetres cubed. Work out the density of the piece of glass. Right, now if you can't remember how to work out density, they've given you a big clue with the units here. The units are in grams per centimetre cubed. So grams per centimetre cubed. Look, they're telling you what to do. So grams are 27. Centimetre cubes, 10. So 27 divided by 10. Divide by 10. You either take off a 0 if we've got one. If not, you move the decimal point one place. So we're going to end up with an answer of 2.7. As I say, they put the units in for us already. Question 26. Work out an estimate for 5.7 times 8.2, all divided by 0.26. We're estimating, so we're going to do some rounding. I'm going to round all of these to one significant figure. So for 5.7, that's going to be rounding it to the nearest whole number. So we look at the digit after the whole number, which is the 7. If it's 5 or more, we round it up. So that's going to round to 6. 8.2, so again we look at the first digit after the whole number. It's less than 5, so we're going to round that to 8, and 0.26. Well, this is our first non-zero number, so we look at the one after it. 5 or more, it goes up, so we're going to have 0.3. So we've got 6 times 8 on the top, so 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, divided by 0.3. I'm going to ignore the decimal point to start with. So how many times does 3 go into 4? Well, it goes once, remainder 1. And 3 into 18 is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. That's 6 times. Now we have got the decimal point, so we've either got to put a decimal point in or we've got to add a 0. And the way to do it is think, well, if it was 48 divided by 3, we know the answer is 16. But it's 48 divided by 0.3, which is smaller than 3, so it's going to go in more times. And it was 1 decimal place, so we're going to add 1 0 at the end. And that's our answer here. You might have a slightly different answer depending on how you estimated your values or did your rounding. Question 27. Start with A. Expand and simplify 3x plus 2, in brackets, multiplied by 2x minus 5. So the first thing we're going to multiply, actually let's do it grid method. So we've got 3x, 2, 2x minus 5. So, and we're going to multiply everything together. 2x times 3x, well 2 times 3 is 6, x times x is x squared. 2 times 2 is 4, times x, just goes on there. Minus 5 times 3x, well 3 times 5, 5, 10, 15. But it's minus 5, so we keep the negative there. And we also need the x. 2 times minus 5, or 5, 10. So we've got minus 10. So add these all up. We're going to have, always start with the term that's got most x's, or sort of most powers of x. So 6x squared plus 4x minus 15x minus 10. So one more thing we can do. We can't do anything with the x squareds because we've only got one of those. But the 4x minus the 15x, well, we can do 4 minus 15. You can think of it as 15 minus 4, but the answer is going to be negative. So 15 minus 4 would be 11. So it's going to be minus 11. You can think of it as you need to use up 4 to get back to 0, and then you'd have 11 left going minus on the number line. So we're going to keep our 6x squared. So we said the 4x minus the 15x is going to give us minus 11x, and the minus 10 just on its own. In fact, let's write this on the answer line properly. And for the very last part, factorise x squared minus 16. So we're going to have 2 sets of brackets. We know we're going to have an x at the front to get our x squared. And we know we're going to have 2 numbers that multiply together to give us 16. But because we haven't got any x terms in the middle, we know it's got to be the same number. So 2 and 8 won't work, but 4 and 4 will work. And because it's a negative answer overall, we need 1 to be plus, 1 to be negative. Now I'm going to show a slightly different way. If we did this way, this would be saying, well, I know I'm going to have an x and an x, and I know I'm going to need to make 6, so we're going to have x squared here, and we're going to have minus 16 down here. So if we have a plus 4 and a minus 4, then when we multiply them by the x, we get minus 4x up here we'll have 4x. So these two are going to cancel out, because plus 4x minus 4x will just leave us with x squared minus 16. So the factorised bit, I'll put in brackets x plus 4 times x minus 4. And that's the end of the paper. So I hope you found it helpful. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on to find out when I upload more videos, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.